Bonjour everyone, Françoise Alois-Monroe, your guiding star. Welcome today to the 25th of June, to the new moon at 4 degrees 7 minutes of Cancer, happening at 8:31 p.m. tonight, Brisbane time, Queensland, Australia. The first things to do is to look in your astrological chart where the sign of Cancer is located, in which house. And this is where this new moon is impacting you. The new moon is a perfect time to sow the seeds of what you want to see grow in your life. This is a very powerful new moon, carried by the high frequencies of the great solstice portal from the entrance of the sun in the sign of Cancer on the 21st of June. But also by the Casimi of Jupiter and the Sun. A Casimi in astrology refers to any planet within 17 minutes of arc of the Sun. It is said to be in the heart of the Sun. From yesterday 24th to today 25th, the lunation day, Jupiter is in the heart of the Sun. It is a powerful alignment symbolizing a potent boost to Jupiter's beneficial qualities, like abundance, growth, wisdom, and optimism. It is a potent time for taking action towards goal, making important decisions, and manifesting desires. It is a period to be bold and pursue what you want with confidence. But emotionally, this can be a shaking time. You are pushed to come out of your shell of security, to be able to live new experiences in connection with the real renewal and your soul mission. And it is not always easy to leave the old, to go towards the new, because you have certain habits, certain patterns, which have been anchored for a very long time. And today you are pushed to let go of them, to bring a real change in your life. It is a kind of restructuring which is happening. And you can feel this call, which tells you to move forward. And at the same time, have this feeling, well, yes, but how am I going to do it? So take the first step, and the how will come. This new moon in Cancer asks you to trust your inner guidance, your perceptions, your intuition. Great reconnections are taking place, but the most important thing is to reconnect with yourself, with your family, earthly family, soul family, cosmic family. So during this timeline, you may feel overwhelmed by emotional tides, and you would do well to let yourself pass through without clinging to them. These emotional tides are linked to your resistance to leaving your comfort zone, to doing new things, to create real change in your life. And under the influence of Cancer, this renewal is deeply rooted in your emotional needs and in the way you feel nourished, protected, and supported. This is a time when you may experience a stronger connection to your roots, your family, and your past. Cancer highlights your attachments, your memories, and the way you take care of yourself and others. So this new moon invites you to get back to basics. And you can ask yourself, do I have a living space that brings me comfort? Am I in tune with my emotions, or do I tend to repress them? What emotional patterns from the past are still influencing my present? This new moon brings all these questions to light. It pushes you to reevaluate your relationship with emotional and affective security. It is therefore an ideal time to redefine your notion of home, whether on a physical or emotional level. An ideal time to allow yourself to express your emotions in a healthy and balanced way. And finally, it is also an ideal time to make peace with certain wounds from the past, to move forward more serenely. All this so that you can build a sense of inner security by taking the time to listen to your feelings and to set intentions aligned with your emotional needs. You are then offering yourself a renewal in harmony with your heart. The conjunction of Jupiter and the new moon amplifies everything as just shared. Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. I'll talk about it a lot in my previous video on YouTube. The return to the roots, to find your point of anchor. And I invite you to follow me on YouTube. Search for Françoise, the guiding star. So Jupiter in Cancer is in its domain of exaltation. Therefore, it expresses here in its qualities of abundance and generosity and protection in a particularly stronger way. Associated with the new moon, he highlights an increased need to nourish your inner world, to broaden your vision of emotional security, and to open yourself to opportunities that affect your home, your family relationships, and your emotional anchor. Jupiter gives you greater sensitivity, which can allow for deep emotional healing in relation to projects related to the home, family, or intimacy. However, the shadow side to watch out for is potentially an overestimation of your emotional or material capacities, a tendency to excess, overprotection, or excessive attachment, or difficulty to let go, or even an amplification of emotions which can lead to excessive reactions. With Jupiter, everything is amplified. If you are in a positive dynamic, this lunation can be a period of great openness, of emotional opportunities, of something around your security. But if you are in restrictive or painful emotional patterns, this risks being brought to light in a more intense way. Then we see that the new moon and Jupiter is conversing gently in a sextile with Mars in Virgo. So Mars in Virgo brings a methodical and organized approach to this new moon. This aspect encourages calm, thoughtful action, focused on concrete solutions to improve your emotional and material daily life. So how to use this energy? Well, it can allow you to find practical solutions to emotional or family issues. It can help you establish a new routine, better organize your life, and help you apply specific methods to cultivate your inner well-being through work on yourself, your diet, your stress management. With this aspect between Mars and the new moon, there is a good balance between sensitivity and action, which allows you not to be too overwhelmed by your emotions, but rather to take concrete action to improve your situation. Then we see the square conversation between the new moon and Jupiter and the conjunction Saturn-Neptune in Aries. So, the major challenge of this lunation lies in this square, which brings a noticeable contrast between the desire for expansion and emotional comfort, represented by the new moon conjunct Jupiter, and a reality that forces you to confront your responsibilities and your dreams, your illusions, represented by Saturn-Neptune in Aries. This square aspect can be very challenging. It imposes strict discipline and a confrontation with your own limits, generating feelings of frustration, blockage, or lack of confidence in the face of your emotional aspirations. You may feel tension between your need for security and the need to act with autonomy and responsibility. You may feel pressure linked to heavy family or personal commitments. And finally, you may also feel a fear of rejection or a difficulty in expressing your emotions freely. Neptune squaring the new moon is like diving into illusions, dreams, doubts, or emotional confusion. And you may have difficulty facing reality and feel a loss of reference on what truly brings you security and well-being. With this square between Saturn-Neptune and the new moon Jupiter, you may experience a heightened sense of vulnerability or disillusionment with your expectations. You may need to let go of certain beliefs to evolve toward a vision more aligned with your reality. There is also a remarkable configuration at this new moon time, and it is the second most important conversation after the square between the new moon Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn-Neptune in Aries. We see Pluto in Aquarius in a double conversation of quincunxes, with the new moon and Jupiter on one side and Mars in Virgo on the other side. This double quincunx creates a thin isosceles triangle, which we call a yod in astrology, and also called the finger of God. When a yod appears in a birth chart, it means that the sky is pointing its finger at something non-negotiable, something ultra-sensitive. It is uncomfortable. This yod must be understood as an inner call for a shift, sometimes a decision, or in any case a slow but irreversible mutation. At the base of this yod, on one side, there is Mars in Virgo, therefore concrete, humble, precise action. And on the other side, you have the new moon conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. Therefore, the emotional charge, the search for security, and the protective impulse. And at the top of the yod, there is Pluto in Aquarius, which is the focal point, the evacuation point of this yod, the focus of transformation, the place toward which everything must converge, willingly or unwillingly. This yod tells you that it is not enough to act properly, Mars in Virgo, not to feel strongly or to believe in the protection of the home, the new moon Jupiter in Cancer. It tells you that you must go further, you must transmute, and Pluto in Aquarius, and moreover retrograde at this time, does not leave you the choice of comfort. Pluto in Aquarius demands a collective inner mutation. So during his journey through Aquarius till 2044, he will force us to face up to the fact that in our way of acting, in our way of feeling, we are still governed by the shadow, by control, or by the fear of losing the old world. Pluto in Aquarius does not just ask us to evolve individually, it pushes us to transform our links to the collective, to the society. Pluto in Aquarius represents the old power that is collapsing, the external authority that is emptied of its meaning. It is also the social control that is showing its limits now. So there is indeed a need for each of us to reposition ourselves in a world that will never be structured as before. Pluto is located at the top of the yod. He asks you to enter in a transformation, but with courage. This finger of God is in the context of this new moon already saturated with tension comes to underline one essential thing. No solution can come from one side alone, nor from pragmatism without visions, nor from emotion without structure, even less from protection without transformation. So this year forces you to deal with discomfort, to bring opposites into dialogue, to work on the paradox. And this work is slow, demanding, but it is also profoundly transformative if it is accepted. So what can be done in practice in such an intense configuration? First of all, it is about accepting that you don't have all the answers. It is about committing yourself where it is right. It is about not running away from the tension, but rather inhabiting it, observing where your automatisms still seek to control, preserve, and cling, and always keep this question in the background. What are you participating in deep down? Do you have to choose to experience a change or to undergo it? Mars in Virgo is under the governance of Mercury, which is in Cancer at this time, therefore under the influence of this new moon. And Mercury is of great support during this new moon timeline. Mercury in Cancer is not a cold analyst. He thinks with memory, he speaks from emotion, he communicates from his gut, from his inner waves. He feels before reasoning. He captures before structuring. He can sometimes be overwhelmed by what he perceives. During this new moon, he speaks in sextile with Uranus in Taurus, which will literally electrify his perceptions. So it can give you flashes of lucidity, dazzling intuitions, almost instinctive understandings of reality, but also sometimes a mental overstimulation. So this can be difficult to channel. So this aspect can open the way to powerful realization. So how does the changing world impact you in your words, in your thoughts, in your perception of reality? So to summarize, this lunation highlights a quest for balance between expansion, going further, stepping out of your comfort zone, and confronting life's realities. With a conjunction with Jupiter, you crave emotional growth and kindness. But the square with Saturn-Neptune reminds you that this expansion cannot happen without taking into account your limits and some truths that you sometimes struggle to accept. The key points to remember are to listen to and acknowledge your emotional needs while accepting external constraints. Avoid emotional excesses and illusions. Lay solid and realistic foundations. Act in a concrete and pragmatic manner, and accept that a certain discomfort is necessary to move toward greater inner security. And I share with you an affirmation that you can chant or use as a prayer to set your intentions for this new moon. In harmony with my reality, I feel firmly anchored and completely safe. Of course, I am sure that you will create with your own words your affirmation for this powerful new moon in Cancer happening today at 8:31 p.m. tonight. Thank you for you to listen, and if this video speaks to you, click the thumbs up, share your thought in a comment, and then whenever you feel like, book an astrology reading with me in English or in French, in person or online. Blessed be with love.